YouTube, what's good? It's your boy Kenny Zeus back with another video, and in today's video I'm going to be explaining how to make the league, where to start, how to go about it, what to do, because I know a lot of people ask me like, how'd you get into this, how'd you get started, what'd you have to do. So in this video I'm gonna just have some gameplays in the back, and I'm just gonna be explaining every situation, how to get started, where to go, what to do, and how to make the 2K league if you want to aspire to be a 2K league player. First things first, all I want to say is just because you follow every step in this video does not mean you are guaranteed to be drafted in the 2K League. Obviously, you have to do some work on your own and put in time on your own to make it, man. It's like anything in life. The more time you put into it, the better chance you have at doing something. I'm just here to give you a couple steps, a couple leaners on the things I did and what helped me get drafted, because everybody's story is different. So let's get started. First thing is, for the beginners that don't really understand how the 2K community works, or the 2K League, etc., one thing I do recommend is making a Twitter, following the 2K League, following all the teams, following some of the amateur teams I'm going to mention later. Amateur leagues I'm going to mention later. Following certain players in the league, certain coaches, things like that. So all that is I'm going to talk about that in a little later. First things first. If you're new, like brand new, make sure you make a Twitter. Make sure you follow all the 2K League teams. Boom. Now, if you're playing 5v5, 3v3, I'll touch on 3v3 later because it's a whole different aspect. So first things first is we're going to focus straight on 5v5. 5v5, basically what you want to do is 2K League teams will host a tournament throughout the year, where it's 2K League invitational tournaments. So if you win, your whole team gets draft eligible spots in the 2K League, which means you're eligible to be drafted. Boom. That's basically all that means. Now, if I'm telling you, that's only half the battle. If you think winning that tournament does enough for you to get drafted, that's not the case. A lot of people are draft eligible, and a lot of people go undrafted. So make sure you got a lot more to do. Basically, that's basically all I'm saying. Next thing you want to do is there's big amateur leagues such as WWAR, MPBA. I'll leave the link. I'll make sure we leave the link to that in the description. You want to play in those tournaments, you want to play in those leagues, you want to play against the best of the best, and you want to show out and be good against the best of the best. Now, I'm not saying that in your first game you're gonna beat the best. It's just it might not be realistic. It might take you some time. It might take you until next year, but as long as you keep doing it, as long as you keep getting better, as long as you want to do it, I promise you can do it. Now, you basically want to play them, you want to show out, and one thing you want to do is you want to make sure your games are either streamed or uploaded to YouTube. That way, say you do beat a top team in WR and PBA, hey, now we have something to look at. Us coaches, I know, especially I've seen coaches tweet out last year like, hey, where's gameplay of this player, or where's gameplay? I need gameplay, because a lot of people weren't streaming or uploading. Now, I can understand you not being able to stream because your internet doesn't allow you, or you're going to be delayed during the game. Just make sure you save the videos and upload to YouTube, because YouTube is, people just want to watch. If you're being one of the best teams but we have no evidence or nothing to watch of you and how you play, then how are we going to know, hey, this kid's good, we should look more into him? So make sure your games are all streamed and uploaded. And probably the most important thing out of everything I just said is make sure you market yourself and make connection with other players. Like, go on their Twitch streams, talk to them, things like that. Reply to them on Twitter, talk to them on Twitter. Just make sure your name is like known. So once you start going crazy, you feel me? Now people are like, oh, that's that kid from blah blah blah. Or so basically, that way people start talking about you, that it's easier for you to get your name out there. It's easier for a team to take a chance on someone that they know than somebody that they don't know. So that's probably the most important things. Now let's say, hey, I got all that information. Where do I start? So basically, how I say this is, if you have 5 friends that you guys all have the same goal, I recommend you all playing together to start, right? Now you make your pro-am team. Now you go watch the best pro-am team, which one hasn't been determined yet. You go watch the best pro-am team and you create their exact same lineup, and you try to mirror not exactly how they play, because you want to have your own spice, but you try to do a lot of the things they do, like things they do very well. You want to try to copy that. You want to try to mimic and take things from every team. You can watch all the teams play and try to take something and run with it, and literally just try to be the best you can. Play the amateur leagues. Play to make sure. Obviously, you have to play the 2K League Invitationals, or you won't have a draft eligible spot. Play that. You got to get your name out there. Make sure you're posting your videos on YouTube, etc. And then boom. But now let's say, hey, I'm by myself. I don't have friends that are looking to play in the 2K League, but I'm looking myself to play in the 2K League. So one thing you want to do, obviously, make sure you make your Twitter. I think if you don't have a Twitter, you're trying to aspire to be a 2K player, then you need to make one, because that's where everything's at. That's where all the sauce is. That's where everybody is. That's what the main communication is, Twitter. So make sure you got a Twitter. Now, yeah, let's say you don't have friends. You don't have 5 friends that want to play. I recommend you going into Discords, looking for Discords, looking for free agent posts, just looking to find and play with anybody. It doesn't matter where you start, as long as you're getting better. Then basically where you go, you start with a bad team, right? Boom, you get good, you learn the game, you learn some of the things. Then you get an offer from a better team, or you find a better team. You take that and you keep going to the better team and to the better team until you're at that point where now you're getting recognized as one of the best players. So that's what I recommend you do if you don't have a friend group to play with. Just make sure you are out there and you're playing. You have to find people to play with, because it's no way to make the 2K League if you're not playing, because people aren't going to just draft someone that doesn't play. Or, you feel what I'm saying? You gotta make sure you're playing in these big leagues. You gotta make sure you're playing against the best of the best. And one thing you got to make sure you do is you got to make sure there's evidence of you doing that. So make sure you're streaming, uploading, and make sure you're talking to people. I'm gonna keep touching on everything that I said earlier in the video. So now let's talk about the 3v3 portion, which is totally brand new to the 2K League, which is honestly a great feature that I think they added for people that can't get drafted, or just amateurs in general, amateur players. So one thing they did do is they created these qualifiers for 3v3, where if you win in the qualifiers, you can play in the season for the 2K League in the 3v3 portion. This is only for 3v3. So say you have 3 friends, y'all are really good. Y'all are a really good 3v3 team. One thing I recommend you doing is following the 2K League. Wait for these qualifiers. Say your aspirations isn't really the 2K League, but hey, I play 3v3 a lot. I enjoy 3v3. I want to make some money. Go play in these qualifiers. Do good. And once you get into the league portion, you can make the playoffs for 3v3. Rim runners, they were probably, I think, 2-4 in group play for the 2K League, right? They may end up making $75,000 because they made it to the playoffs. They were the second best amateur team, and they made a run in the playoffs. So an amateur team, 3 people got to split $75,000. I could be wrong about 75. It's something. It's either $75,000 or $65,000 between the 3 of them, because they played 3v3. They qualified together. So it's definitely something that is an avenue now. Like, people don't have to just make the 2K League. If you're a good 3v3 team and you feel like, hey, I got a good chance at doing that, I would definitely recommend doing that. That's a different way. Now, once you do that, once you make your name in that scene, then you can switch over to 5v5 and, like, boom, now you already have your name, you have your experience, you have everything. So it's a lot easier for you now to get drafted the next year than it was like coming up. So that is definitely a great way. That's what I recommend to anybody new, especially because I know a lot of people come from 3v3. So I know a lot of people play Park. Like, who doesn't play Park? So that's one thing I definitely recommend doing if you are new and it's hard for you to find a 5v5 team, because I'm sure you can find a Park team, and I'm sure you can find a 3v3 team that you can shoot to your liking. So yeah, 3v3 is a great way great addition to the 2K League, and I feel like it's easier in 3v3 than it is maybe the 5v5 part. The 5v5 part is a lot harder, especially if you're already not solidified as a 5v5 player. So I definitely recommend the 3v3 aspect. Now, if you need any help, feel free to ask me on Twitter. You can DM me, KennyZeus_. If you have any questions, I'm always free to answer questions. Now, one thing I do recommend is to be yourself at all times, because showing your true self always is better than trying to put on a persona. So just make sure you're your true self. And that's basically all for this video. If you have any questions, like I said, feel free to DM me. Now, if you enjoyed the video and you want more like it, make sure you hit the like button and comment. Let me know. You can also ask in the comments. I'll be there to answer questions as well. So just let me know. This video is coming to an end, and I do appreciate it. More videos definitely coming on the way. Competitive games, my build, my jump shot, my animations, everything is coming soon. So make sure you stay tuned. Without further ado, I'm out. Peace.